What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. Before I get into the week ahead, it looks like an opportunity to really take advantage of a softer schedule ahead here. It really started back on Saturday night against the lowly Washington Wizards. Now, that was a very close contest, a lot closer than Bulls fans would have hoped for. We'll get into that in a second. But first, to start this show, I want to go over Friday night's NBA Cup game. It was probably the Bulls' worst defeat of the season. They got smoked by the Miami Heat on Friday night, 143-107. And then obviously just skating by the lowly Wizards in the final minute on Saturday night in the second of a back-to-back, 121-120. That Miami game was really a frustrating one if you're a Bulls fan. You come into that one a slight favorite. You're pretty healthy. You came out of that game with a few guys banged up. A slight favorite at home and a big matchup to really keep your NBA Cup hopes alive in group play is a very important game from that perspective. Ayo Dosunmu got his first start of the year in that one. Tre Jones was also back after a brief absence. So things were looking up for the Bulls in this contest. They really never got going in this one. They were down 70. They were down 18 at half, 70-52, I believe. Isaac Okoro left this game. Modest also left this game. Modest would return, but he did not, he returned to the bench, would not get back to the game. Isaac Okoro was deemed questionable with a lower back situation. He would not return as well. Kevin Huerter in this one, another piece of kind of weird news in this one. He was ejected in this contest in the second half for hitting the ball, which would eventually hit an official. They reviewed it and upheld the ruling that he would be ejected. So they were without him. Just a very disappointing effort all around at home. The Bulls got blown out, in a game that had a lot of anticipation for some good reason there. The Miami Heat continue to have the Bulls number. A piece of good news on Saturday, I guess you could look at, instead of making his NBA debut in a blowout, Noah Senge posted 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals in Windy City's G League loss in Iowa. So Noah Senge had a very strong effort there for the Windy City Bulls. Looking at the injuries, though, for the Bulls, they continue to kind of stack up here. Just when you get a guy back and look at Tre Jones, you got 2 guys who go down. Dalen Terry didn't return with a calf injury Friday, and then Modest with his ankle also did not return. I think a lot of that had to do with, in terms of the score and what it was and it being a blowout. This loss all but eliminates Chicago from advancing to the knockout round of the NBA Cup. So a disappointing effort in a tournament that I've, kind of been looking forward to with you guys since the schedule came out way back at the beginning of this show. So a very disappointing end to what I thought was a winnable group. I thought the Bulls would fare better. But at the end of the day, let me know how you guys feel about the NBA Cup in the comments, but I'm not huge on it. I think in in-season tournaments, it's fun, but it's not the end goal, obviously, in terms of winning that. Milwaukee obviously winning that last year. Miami improves to 2-1. The Bulls fall to 1-2. Milwaukee leads the group with a 2-0 mark, but face tough road games against the Heat and the Knicks coming up. The Bulls' lone remaining game in this group stage is Friday against Charlotte. Looking at the Heat game, though, 143 points was the Bulls' most points allowed in regulation this season. Just a very lackadaisical effort from the defensive end. Billy Donovan said it post-game, they just ate them alive in transition, pushed the ball, and were scoring with relative ease for a majority of that second half. So, looking and fast-forwarding to Saturday, Noah Senge would be recalled back to the big league club Saturday morning, where he would eventually make his NBA debut in the game against Washington. So a much anticipated debut for him. Looking at the Wizards game now, just in general, Pat Williams, Isaac Okoro, and Dalen Terry were all out for this one. So the Bulls were shorthanded against one of the worst teams in the NBA, though. So the Bulls would call up Emmanuel Miller and Lachlan Olbrich from the G League. They'd be active for that contest. Kobe White would make his first start of the year versus Washington. Obviously, that was much needed and expected. He did not play against Miami on Friday, so it was planned that he was going to play one of the 2 games on the weekend. Kobe gets the start in that one. And Noah Senge, like I was saying, made made his much anticipated NBA debut. Didn't do much on the stat sheet, but it was good to see him out there and to get going in NBA play. Looking at this game as a whole, the Bulls really dodge a bullet with solid defense. Finally, solid defense. I mean, after Friday's performance and then most of Saturday, the defense showed up real late, and the Wizards would drop this one, extending their losing streak to 14 games. The Wizards have lost 14 in a row. Tough times for that rebuilding franchise. The Bulls improved to 7-4 in clutch games. Granted, this really shouldn't have been, if you're a Bulls fan, a clutch game. I mean, they were a 12.5-point favorite, getting by in the final minute at home. I know it's the second of a back-to-back, but you want a better performance out of this Bulls team. So hopefully they improve upon things in the week ahead here, and that's to be expected from Billy Donovan, as the standard continues to be high for him and this Bulls team. Vooch, 28 points and 12 rebounds in this one, a double-double, and then Giddey had another triple-double here. I think he broke the triple-double record for the Chicago Bulls. So, I mean, that's a heck of a feat there. Not what the Bulls wanted in this one, though, against the far less superior Eastern Conference opponent, as a 12.5-point favorite. But a win is a win in this league. Can't take anything for granted. Again, the Bulls improved to 7-4 in clutch games. So, kind of looking at what's ahead for the Bulls, in this week ahead here, it's going to be an important one for the Bulls to kind of capitalize on this opportunity in this Thanksgiving week ahead. The Bulls will travel to New Orleans to take on the 2-15 Pelicans, 7 p.m. on CHSN Monday night, and then they will have off until their next game on Black Friday, where they travel to play the 4-13 Charlotte Hornets. That's the final NBA Cup group play contest. That'll be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday. So that's another winnable contest. Now, I know the Bulls are going to have to stay motivated. They're probably not going to advance into the knockout round of the NBA Cup, but definitely a winnable contest for them as well. They will then finish the week with the second of a back-to-back in Indy against the 2-14 Pacers. The Pacers have really had a rough go this year. After going to the NBA Finals just a few months ago, is kind of a crazy spin for them. Obviously, injury-plagued group, but Indy has really struggled. The Bulls will take on them in Indy at 6:30 p.m. Saturday night. Fantastic opportunity when looking at things as a whole for a 3-0 week, and really 5 of their next 6 games are winnable. So the Bulls have, and that's to say Orlando. The Bulls will probably play Orlando tough. They always do, but that's the one lone opponent on the slate the next 6 games it's going to be a tougher test. So the Bulls have an opportunity to kind of jump ahead and get above 500 pretty decently here, make a little bit of a run. Hopefully they can take that opportunity and build some momentum and get things headed in the right direction. Go on a little bit of a run here. I think it's a good opportunity for this Bulls team. I expect 5-1 in this stretch. I'm sure a lot of Bulls fans do as well, but you have to. You want to see the Bulls play good ball. You want to see them continue to excel and work past their expectations. So we'll keep an eye on how this week spins. Kind of looking at the key injuries for the Bulls. And that's going to be a story as we head into this next week of games. Isaac Okoro and Dalen Terry are going to be out Monday night against the Pelicans. Kevin Huerter and Pat Williams are questionable. Huerter dealing with an illness, so we'll see what's up with that. The Pelicans are going to be very shorthanded in this one, which why I think the Bulls should take advantage of this opportunity and win this game. They're going to be without Jordan Poole, Herb Jones, and DeJounte Murray. Kevon Looney is also questionable for New Orleans. So just overall, when you look at this game, a very winnable, contest for Chicago, an opportunity to start the week out on the right foot. Looking at this one from a betting perspective, I want to say, the Bulls should be able to cover that short number. They roll into this matchup a 5.5-point favorite, a relatively short number for a team that's, seen as superior to the Pelicans, and just in terms of talent and depth. The total sits at 243.5. The Bulls are minus 218 on the money line. The Pelicans sit at plus 180. The best bet here for me is the Bulls minus 5.5. They have the much deeper team and healthier squad. I know the Bulls are dealing with injuries of their own, but New Orleans is really banged up outside of Zion. So take the Bulls minus 5.5 with confidence in this one. If you're looking to play the total, I lean under 243.5 in this one. I just don't know where the consistent scoring is going to come from the Pels outside of Zion Williamson. So we'll see what happens in this one. Need the Bulls to start the week strong, get off on the right foot. I think they will do so. I think they're going to win this contest. I think they're going to rebound from what was a close call on Saturday against the league's worst team. So good spot for the Bulls. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Bulls Latest. Exciting week ahead, Thanksgiving week. It's going to be a great stretch of basketball for the Bulls. An opportunity awaits them to really jump on this and stack some wins. So thanks again for joining me, guys, in another episode of Bulls Latest here, and we will catch you guys next time.